What is going on, guys? Spazix VGC here, and today I'm going to be ranking the top 10 competitive Pokemon right now in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Series 1. Remember to keep in mind that this video will be purely for Series 1, so if you're watching this in the future, the answers will be completely different. Now, without any further ado, let's hop into our list, starting with number 10. Our number 10 slot is going to Sylveon. Sylveon is an extremely hard Pokemon for me to rank personally, but I felt like I had to put it on this list since it's so strong. So I set it with the number 10 spot. Sylveon is an extremely good typing both offensively and defensively in the Fairy type, with a very respectable special attack stat and a monstrous special defense stat. But the reason that Sylveon is so good isn't because of all this, but because of its ability, Pixelate. Pixelate changes all normal type moves to Fairy type moves, which would be extremely valuable to begin with. However, it also increases the power of these moves by 20%, which is just so valuable and absurd, and it makes Sylveon so good into Dark types, which I've picked up so much in Scarlet and Violet. It's just overall an extremely good Pokemon. At number 9, we have Dragonite. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I despise this Pokemon, but the reason I'm putting it here is because it's still an extremely strong one. Terra Normal Extreme Speed with Choice Band is just so stupidly broken, but the reason Dragonite isn't higher is because of Medivh, which is a fairly popular Pokemon. It completely stops Extreme Speed because of Psychic Terrain. Although, I've seen this really cool set with Assault Vest and Multiscale, and it is just too tanky to be true. And I actually really like the set, and as much as I hate to say it, it's just a strong Pokemon. At our number 8 slot, we've got King Ambit. This is one of my absolute favorite Pokemon from this generation, and I actually think it's underrated. It is finally starting to pick up, which is just so awesome because it has so much going for it. Good typing, amazing abilities, good move pool, and has item versatility. Not only all this, but it has an extremely good attack stat along with a very good defense stat. The only thing holding it back is its speed, but if you can get it under Trick Room, it's so threatening, and even without Trick Room, it applies so much pressure with that Sucker Punch. Number 7 is where we start getting to the really strong Pokemon, Armarouge. Now, this Pokemon is one of my absolute favorite just off a design standpoint, but it turns out that it's actually an extremely good competitive option as well. It has decent stats across the board, but its move pool is where it shines. It has many different options when it comes to movesets. Its signature move, Armor Cannon, is where everyone is using. It's basically the fire version of Close Combat, which is so strong. It also has access to Heat Wave for dual target, and it is the only Pokemon in the game to have access to Expanding Force, which is such a broken move. It also has Wide Guard if you want to run some support, but that's not as necessary. Not only does it have all this, but it also has one of the best defensive terrors in the game because of its ability, Flash Fire. When it goes into Grass Terra, it can't be hit by Fire type moves, making it super valuable. Overall, one of the best Pokemon out of this gen, and I could see it being good for generations to come. Number 6 is Annihilate. First things first, can we just say it is about time they gave Primeape a new evolution? Like, it did not disappoint. Not only does Annihilate have good typing, not only does Annihilate have good stats, not only does Annihilate have an extremely strong signature move, but also has so much versatility. You can run a bulky set with Bulk Up and Drain Punch and Rage Fist. Oh, it's so strong. Or you can run a Choice Scarf set with Final Gambit and U-Turn, which is just so hard to counter. This set in particular is just so interesting to me because Annihilate has such a good HP stat, and it's able to outspeed so many other Pokemon with the Choice Scarf item, and it's just threatening to so many teams because you can pick up a knockout that will completely change the game. Before we get into our top 10, I would just like to take a moment and say this is my first ever video, guys. I have loved Pokemon my entire life, and I would love to share my opinions on competitive Pokemon, and I really hope I can teach you guys something. And I really hope you enjoy these videos. If you're enjoying it, it would mean a lot for you to go down and subscribe and give it a like so I can get this channel off the ground. Thanks, and let's get back to number 5. Our number 5 slot's going to Hydreigon. Now, this might be an unpopular spot to put Hydreigon, but in my opinion, Hydreigon is just really strong right now. It is a Pokemon that takes full advantage of Terastallization, as it can turn its 4-time weakness to Fairy into a resist with Poison or Steel. I've also seen some Fire starting to pick up, as it can also resist Fairy, and it can power up moves like Heat Wave. There's also multiple ways to run Hydreigon, as you can run Choice Specs, which I have found to be super strong and underrated right now. Or you can run the Picking Up set right now, which is Scope Lens Focus Energy. Now, for those that don't know, Focus Energy increases your critical hit chance, and so does Scope Lens. Now, with these two things combined, your next attack will guarantee that you will crit. This is so valuable in the Pokemon like Dondozo, where crits will just bypass their boosts. Or if your Draco Meteor starts lowering your attack, then you can use this to get rid of that stat drop and just one-hit KO something. Our number 4 slot is going to Amoonguss. I hate putting Amoonguss on this list. It's the most terrible Pokemon ever designed. Some jerk at Game Freak decided he wanted to torture people with it, but it still deserves a spot, I guess, because it's how annoyingly valuable it can be. Spore is arguably the best move in the game, putting the opposing Pokemon to sleep 100% of the time. Like, why did they make a move that puts a Pokemon to sleep 100% of the time? Not to mention Amoonguss having an amazing ability and other good support moves like Rage Powder and Clear Smog. It also uses Rocky Helmet very well to counter Maushold. I mean, I just despise this Pokemon, but it has to be here. And we're down to the top three. Let me know in the comments down below what you think the top three Pokemon are going to be. Now, let's start off with Meowscarada. Now, while all the starters this generation are completely viable, there is one that stands far above the rest, and that's Meowscarada. Meowscarada has okay typing and abilities, but where it shines is its move pool and stats. It's an okay attack stat, but a ridiculous speed stat. To complement this, it has an incredible signature move, which is Flower Trick. Flower Trick is a 70 base power move that never misses and always crits. This is so valuable because crits go through all stat boosts, and things like Reflect, making this move just so valuable, especially when paired up with the Grass Terra. It can be very versatile if you want it to. You can run Trick Room and Protect, or if you want to run Choice Band, you have that option as well to just put out ridiculous damage. Meowscarada is just so strong right now, and it's a great Pokemon. And our number 2 slot is going to Golden Go. Now, this Pokemon is so stupid. Just so broken. It has an absolutely incredible typing in Steel Ghost. It has one of the best abilities in the game and good as gold, which makes it to where you cannot use any status moves on it. And its signature move is also so broken. Make It Rain. It has a 120 base power, which is already insane. And it hits both slots, and the only drawback is that it lowers your special attack by one stage. When you have Terra Steel, Choice Specs, Golden Go, there is not very much to survive the first Make It Rain. And you do not even notice the second one, even with your special attack dropped. But you can also run Nasty Plot just to get rid of these side effects. And it is just such a broken Pokemon, and I can only put one Pokemon in front of it, which is, well, hold up. We got to get some honorable mentions in here before we get to the number 1 slot. Our first honorable mention is going to Dondozo and Tatsugiri. This is the strongest combo in the game. There is no way around that. With Terra Steel or Terra Dragon, there's no way to stop Dondozo unless you have probably Haze. But since they're only good together, I couldn't put them on the list, guys. So I settled putting them here for honorable mentions. Now, our next honorable mention is going to be Murkrow. I actually think Murkrow is so overrated. Like any other bird, like Talonflame and Pelipper, have been picking up. And I think as time goes on, we're going to see less and less of Murkrow because Pelipper and Talonflame do this job just so much better and have so many more capabilities. Now, Paldean Tauros is our next option, and I so wanted to put him on this list. But Paldean Tauros isn't on the list because it hasn't been used that much. Now, I just watched the San Diego Regionals, and it was used a ton. But I don't know. I can't put it on the list yet because we haven't seen how it does on ladder as the season hasn't been used that much. So people weren't really expecting it. They thought they were going to be the only ones bringing it. Both the water and fire forms saw huge usage, and it was just such a valuable Pokemon to so many teams. I would not be surprised if a week or two I could put it on the list, but we don't know enough about it yet to put it on here. And our last honorable mention is going to Farigiraf. Now, shout out to my boy Sour8. I had to put this on here because I mean, we just love Farigiraf. He's such a good Pokemon, and it's so underrated. Farigiraf, I think, is the best Trick Room user in the game, and it's extremely bulky with a good HP stat. It has tons of versatility, and I really hope it picks up in popularity as time goes on because it's such a strong Pokemon, and I absolutely love the design. Now, let's get to our number 1 slot. Our number 1 slot on the list is going to Maushold. This was the toughest decision of the video for me. I wasn't quite sure whether to put Golden Go or Maushold here, but one thing ultimately decided it, and that's versatility. Maushold is the most versatile Pokemon we've ever seen. It can be one of the best support Pokemon in the game with the valuable moves like Follow Me, Encore, Charm, of course Protect, but it can also be your best sweeper with the busted move Population Bomb. People are running Rocky Helmet just to counter this move. Population Bomb hits 10 times unless it misses, and with Wide Lens, it's like a 90-something% chance that you won't miss. With Ghost Terror for defense or Normal Terror for offense, it's just so broken right now. I mean, not even mentioning Technician, which increases the power of moves under, I believe, 50 base power. And since Population Bomb hits 10 times, its base power is only 20, increasing this power, making it even more broken. With Terra Normal, I don't think anything can survive unless it resists. And it's just too versatile not to have the number 1 slot. So that's my list. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I would really appreciate if you could like and subscribe, as it really helps out a ton. And remember, you are special. Don't compare yourself to others. And just have a great day, you guys. I'll see you later.